Good afternoon, everyone. I am Nikita, and the topic for my paper today is the making of cultural spaces, a history of beliefs, rituals, and practices in the early medieval temple of Chota Nagpur. So, the broad aim of the presentation is to look into the history and culture of Chota Nagpur region in the early medieval period through an investigation of the material culture. The focus will be on the three centers of worship. First being Deori temple, which is located in the Tamar block of Ranchi district, Jharkhand. Second is Haradi in the Bundu block, Ranchi district again. And the third is Itkhori, which is located in the Chatra district of Jharkhand. Before delving into the above mentioned sites, we need to discuss the importance of this region that I have chosen. Why Chota Nagpur particularly? So Chota Nagpur forms a highland backdrop to the middle and the lower sections of the Gangetic Valley in the Bihar and Bengal. A well-defined stretch of upland marking the northeastern peninsular block of the Indian subcontinent. It covers much of Jharkhand state as well as adjacent parts of Odisha, West Bengal, Bihar and Chhattisgarh. It is known in the medieval works as Kokra. And S.C. Roy propounds that it was so known because of Udao community, Udao group, which is the most dominant population of the region, is referred to as Kuruks, hence Kokra. And the name Chota Nagpur, however, is a very recent origin, which is an adaptation from a village 10 kilometers from Ranchi, which was the seat of Nagbanshi Rajas. It is known as Chuta. Okay, so hence Chota Nagpur. While the region is known for its resource-bearing zone in eastern belt of India, it houses a diverse tribal population. Diverse population on different subsistence level and different linguistic affiliations. The region has an interesting cultural horizon that conceived historical phenomena, both secular and religious. This involved reciprocation with the settlement dynamics witnessed at the adjoining plains of Middle and Lower Ganga Valley, the coastal tracts of West Bengal, also the South Coastal region. This region, however, displays a partial lack of both epigraphic sources and local lineages. The archaeological period, that is 6th to 13th century CE, witnessed the beginning of monumental character of its settlement, mostly in the form of religious establishments and sculptural art. The unraveling of major sacred spaces like Deori, Haradi and Itkori in the core area of Chota Nagpur plateau is quite fascinating, more so since the site with all its abundant archaeological remains have somehow remained forgotten, and this site is till now receive only partial references. Hence I have tried to present the significance and potential of these sites and the adjoining areas. Several important trade routes, ancient trade routes supposed to have passed through the plateau from the middle and the lower Gangetic Valley, and also from central India, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and the eastern littoral. The Dudhpani rock inscription of Udayaman from the Dudhpani Ghat in the Hazaribagh district refers to such route from Ayodhya to Tamralipti that was taken by three brothers who were merchants, who, having made plenty of money, were on the way back home. Three villages are mentioned which were under the rule of Adi Simha, a Magadhan ruler. Apart from the land routes, the inland drainage system played a vital role in connecting the upland plateau area with the adjoining plains. Because of the paucity of resources, it is very difficult to understand the development of architecture in the region as for now for me. But the extant temple remains that we have, the first one being Deori in the Tamar block, is dated to somewhere around 9th century CE and is the earliest example of Shikhara type in Chota Nagpur. The temple belonged to the northern type of architecture and is marked by a high curvilinear tower and the usual crowning element, that is the amlak and finial. So this is the Ranchi district where the Deori temple is located. So Deori, which is popularly known as the Deori Mata Ka Mandir, is located in the Deori village Tamar block and is located on NH 33. It is a half-ruined temple that houses a 16-handed image of Durga referred to as Shola Bhuji. It is believed that this image is the elder sister of 7 sisters of the Shakti group, the Saptamatrikas, the others being at Kera, Singhbhum, Palna, Pran Nagar, Haradi, Deoli, and so these are the other sites where the other sisters are supposed to reside. Now the temple compound is spread over an area of 2 acres and also houses a Shivalinga. According to legends, whoever has tried to alter this particular structure has to face the wrath of the gods. Hence the original structure remains untouched while the new temple has been constructed around the older one. It stands in a dilapidated state with a damaged upper portion. Or the superstructure. The original temple is made up of big stone slabs placed one over the other. Raised on a high platform, the temple faces east and exhibits 3 ratha plan at the exterior and square in the interior. The temple is devoid of any ornamentation or carvings. The idol is placed in the sanctum with a big lamp providing light. The main attraction is that the idol has 16 hands holding all her attributes, profusely ornamented, seated in Lalitasan, and her left foot is folded while the right rests on a lotus. 2 characters are inscribed at the base of the image and is supposed to belong to 11th-12th century CE. So this is the new temple that has been constructed around the older ancient temple, early medieval temple. Now we move on to the second group of temples, which is placed in Haradi in the Ranchi district. It is on the bank of river Kanchi in the Bundu block, and the idol of goddess Durga has 8 arms and is known as Ashtabhuji. Government of India has declared this site of Haradi group of temples as a site of national importance. This particular site was first noticed by Dalton in 1873 while he was on his way to Choka Hatu via Bundu. Amalananda Ghosh in 1944 has visited the remains and describes it in his account. According to him, the temple complex consisted of large number of small temples, not less than 20 in number. Of these, 2 are still standing side by side, in one of which this is the first temple that remains in the compound of the Haradi temple complex, and it has an image of 8-armed Mahisasur Mardini Durga enshrined, while the other one houses a Shivalinga. The site of the other temple is marked. The site of other temples, the other temple remains, is marked by bare plinths and fallen fragments of amlaks or pinnacles. A number of Shivalingas are also found lying here and there. Close to these 2 temples, we find a newly constructed temple that enshrines a 16-armed goddess Durga. I do not have a photo of that particular sculpture because I was not allowed to take the photo, because the deity is worshipped and they did not allow me to take the photograph. Amalananda Ghosh assigns the date of 11th-12th century CE to the 16-armed goddess in the newly constructed temple. These temples appear to be the specimens of Rekha type of Odishan temple architecture. They face west and are built on a 3-ratha plan. The temple dedicated to Shiv is badly damaged. Its door cased together with many of its facing slabs are missing. A broken Nandi bull is also noticed, placed to the left near the doorway outside the shrine. The plan is square in the interior and 3-rath on the exterior. So now moving on to the third site, which is Itkhori. It is in the Chatra district of Jharkhand. Is a living site with various mounds and sculptural and architectural remains associated with Buddhist and Brahmanical religion. Modern construction have contributed towards the destruction of the in situ evidences. The skillfully carved image. This is the new temple at Itkhori. The skillfully carved image of Tara, worshipped as Ma Bhadrakali, is one of the finest Buddhist icons of Eastern India. This inscribed icon, dated in the 8th regnal year of Pala king Mahendrapal, later half of the 9th century CE, is noted for its dimension and stylistic features. Obviously, it is the main enshrined deity of the Bhadrakali temple, and she is also referred to as Bhadoli Ma Ka Mandir because the temple is placed on the banks of Bhadoli river, which is the river Mohani. If you like to mark it on the map. Swati Ray and Rupendra Kumar Chattopadhyay has identified at least 5 structural moons adjoining the major moon on which the modern Bhadrakali temple is situated. One lies in the west, other lies in the east of the temple on which the Kanunia Mai temple has been built, and excavations have been carried out at this moon. Another half a kilometer east of the temple is another small mound, also scattered with broken sculptural remains and architectural members. The modern votive stupa temple has also been built on another mound, which is within the boundary of the temple complex. The Shiva Mandir, which houses the Sahasra Shivling, was also built on a mound that lies in the north of the Bhadrakali temple. Monumental remains of Ithori include very fine fragments, but also pieces from Nagara temple architecture. Adam Hardy stated that these are the only surviving fragments which would allow a reconstruction of a magnificent style of temple architecture, hitherto unknown, and filling a gap in our knowledge of the spectrum of style spreading from central India through the Bengal. Ithori, along with the adjoining sites, demonstrates a long sequence of cultural settlements, apparently from the BRW phase to the medieval period. Thus, the sites can be located as part of the ancient pilgrim route from Bodh Gaya to Odisha, and the nature of architectural members documented suggests that there were more than one shrine at the site, and most probably they were of Pala period. Having talked about the above 3 sites, these spaces under discussion do not exist in isolation. They were amenable to interaction and change, leading to cultural entanglements, interactions, and overlaps. It appears that different sub-regions of Jharkhand, that is clusters of historical settlements specifying political development, can be gauged from 8th-9th century onwards. And that was the time when Deori, Haradi, Ithori, along with various other sites like Khekparta, Bero, Ichagat, Tanginath, Dulmi, become a major religious establishment catering to the bigger circuit. What is most striking is the presence of these shrines in an area where rites and ritual performed are more of spiritism and animism. They worship sacred groves, variously known as Sarna Jaher, which are usually a patch of original forest cut in the beginning for habitation. Similarly, the concept of Marang Buru, the great mountain, as prevalent among Mundari-speaking tribal, has its origin in the worship of nature. The second group of religious activities is ancestor worship, and they are known as Burha Burhi, Mari Masan, etc. Finally, they worship the supreme being, which are the village gods and deities. The most gods and deities of these tribals have their origin in the natural environment around them, referred to as Singh Bonga, Desoli, then we have Bedo Gosen, and etc. When talking about these type of ritual practices, the name of Eshmen and Sonthaimer easily come to the mind. As the Kshetra or state society moved into the one, the tribal cults were integrated slowly but steadily over time. The tribal cults were superimposed with Hindu elements, and in the process the two coexisted, each defining the relevance of the other. The local was being gradually universalized, and the trans-local and regional flows were being localized in the process of transformation and reinterpretation of the autochthonous deities. Even today, the coexistence of such layers is observable at the sites of Deori, Haradi, and Ithori. Orao, if we talk about Orao, who form one of the dominant tribal group in the region, they erect small sheds known as Devi Mandap, Devi Guri, or Devi Asthan for Devi Ma or Mother Goddess. Devi Ma is usually represented by small clay stones roughly resembling breasts of women. The mother goddess is supposed to protect the people and the domestic animals from external evils. Sacrifices are also performed at these places of goat and sheep. The most common and in a way logical association or identification of such goddesses is with Durga. In such an association, they continue to accept animal sacrifices and to assure fertility and protection, and at times they even retain their original names. The cult of the mother goddess or different forms of Durga worship with different names are closely associated with this region and eastern India particularly. Images of Mahisasur-Mardini have been often found in abundance all over eastern India. These communities are usually represented by a Pahan. He is the village priest and in some villages is referred to as Baigas and have generally one or more assistant who is known as Panbhar. Pahan is Munda by birth and he performs the puja of the village deity on behalf of the whole village, and he also makes sacrifices at the sarna or the sacred place appointed by them. The puja of the deity at Deori and Haradi is performed by Pandas, the Brahmin priests, in consonance with the Pahans. Akhileshwar Yadav, who is one of the pujari at Deori, stated that there is a group of 15 pujaris at Deori, of which 10 are Pahan and 5 are Pandas. All of them officiate the deity thrice a day following Durga Shaptashati, and he also emphasized that सब साथ में मिलके काम करते हैं and एक ही पद्धति से पूजा करते हैं. What becomes very clear is that the Pahan gained a considerable amount of respect and importance in the day-to-day activity of the temple. The real presence of Shola Bhuji, Ashtabhuji and Bhadrakali Devi in her image is ritually ascertained by the performance of 16 services or upchars, which is called puja or worship. The concept of upchar is absent in local cults. However, at the mentioned temple sites, the 16 upchars are performed with equal participation of the local inhabitants. The deity is worshipped thrice a day from 5 a.m. in the morning. The normal prasad includes sweets, whereas at Deori it is kheer, a milk pudding on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and khichdi on rest of the days. Animal sacrifices have a central role within the ambit of goddess worship. David Kinsley states that these sacrifices are performed to replenish her power and to reinvigorate her. As she replenishes the crops and ensures fertility and looks after the stability of the cosmos, these sacrifices are meant to please her. These sacrifices are even performed at the time of Mannat Purti and are referred to as Bali. Sacrifice of goat, sheep and duck is performed at Deori, and khassi or meat of the male goat is considered the best offering. Moving on to the major festivals that are celebrated in this region. Major regional festivals that played out in the public domain. Two were occasions for the meeting of cultures, traditional Brahmanic ideology and the vibrant popular forms, leading to the making of shared cultural spaces through regions. Deori, Haradi and Itkhori witness high pouring of devotees during Durga Puja. They come in huge number and it is celebrated with great fervor and zeal. Durga Puja is referred to as Dashain among the tribal people or the Adivasis. Devi Durga's victory over Mahisasur, a mighty Asura, hence has a military overtone to the power of Durga is very evident, and apart from this, she is also worshipped as the goddess of fertility and vegetation. Durga Puja that is celebrated in the lunar month of Ashwin coincides very much with the autumn harvest. There are various rituals performed, like the 9 pots representing the 9 forms of the deity filled with Ganges water is identified with her, and in that pot are placed seeds of 5 grains. The growth of these seeds into saplings mark the presence of the goddess. Hence, what becomes very clear is that she is also worshipped as goddess of fertility and vegetation, apart from the military overtone or the protection of the community in general. Another important festival Yes. Another important festival is the Tusu Mela or the Tusu Parv, and is very significant to the region. Tusu is also a rural harvest festival which is celebrated throughout the month of Posh, starting in December and lasts up to mid-January, that is Makar Sankranti. As the festival reaches its climax, colorful chaudals, decorated bamboo frameworks are sold at weekly haats. The chaudal is a lightweight shrine which is a metaphor for a vehicle, similar to the Rath during Rath Yatra. However, this chaudal does not have an idol placed in it. Depending upon the size, it is either carried by hand or supported on shoulders. On the day of Makar Sankranti, the Tusu is transported on the chaudal by young girls and immersed in the larger water body or a river. At Haradi, the Tusu festival has an importance of its own. The chaudals are brought to the Devi and worshipped before taking it for the immersion in the water. A huge mela is organized. Artisanal activities, games, local food preparations are done with the festival. Tusu festival plays a key role in the sustenance of rural economy and continuation of craft practices as well. Hence, rituals, religious forms and ceremonies in conveying meanings repeatedly negotiated in the cultural domains and try to secure conformity and adherence to the emerging order. The mainstream religious practices and the popular culture are not directly opposed to each other, but rather there are several intermediary stages that bring them together within one special regional tradition. A permeating membrane or continuum was created between the two spheres that led to the developments like the establishment of temples, idol worship, development of goddess cult, etc. By stating these arguments, I pose this idea that the temple at Deori, Haradi and Itkori appeared rooted in the earlier tradition of goddess worship among the Adivasis of Chota Nagpur. As the locale of Brahmanical culture stretched, fresh shrines and sacred centers of pilgrimages were selected in the new regions, and this is well exemplified in the Puranic text. This consciously undertaken to integrate the elements and establish religio-cultural hegemony. Thank you so much.